So in this segment, we're going to be talking about Nigel Farage rages at Sunak over Brexit as Reform UK makes major announcement, which could spell trouble for the Tories. I think the major announcement is a let-off for the Tories, to be honest with you. So Farage said Brexit is yet to be completed as his ex-party Reform UK revealed they would be pitting candidates in every seat at the next general election. The group formerly known as the Brexit Party will not be fronted by their former leader, as he told a press conference that his role would be advisory. So Farage not running the party is great news and a game changer for the Tories. If he was running, he would push the Tories more to the right to stop Tory voters voting for reform, but also some of the more kind of Brexit Labour voters moving to the Reform Party as well. Farage, as a right-wing populist, or you could argue a fascist, is very dangerous. He never won a seat, but he baited Cameron into that 2015 referendum pledge. Then Farage was a major player in the Brexit vote. Him not running as leader is great news, because Richard Tice, if he's the leader, will not be anywhere near as effective. As far as kind of right-wing populists go, Farage is one of the best to do it, even though he's never won an election, aside from being an MEP, which is off voter lists. He's very dangerous. Farage, Reform UK's honorary president, said, quote, "Brexit has not been completed. Part of the UK has been hived off and is still being controlled by the European Commission. Vast swathes of industry that were looking forward to benefits, the fishing industry being one, have seen virtually nothing in their favour. Regulations have been axed. And on the really big one, namely control of our borders, to only have what's been happening in the English Channel, but legal net migration last year was running at 500,000. So 3.5 years on, Brexit has not been completed," end quote. So dude went from being, let's be like Norway and Switzerland during the referendum because they're happy and fish, to this. Northern Ireland is only in the EU single market for goods, so hardly being controlled by the Commission. He then talks about industry. Farage does not care about the fishing industry. Whilst he was an MEP, he missed countless fishing committees. If he thought the EU would not fight for their fishermen, then he should have attended the committee meetings. He might have understood how kind of not vicious, but how strongly the EU would fight their corner. Even then, how do you think this would go? The EU would have stuck tariffs on the fish and made exports unviable. They would have treated us like third countries if fish would not have been part of the TCA. He talks about regulations. What specific ones would he axe and why? Also, does he understand the damage he would cause to the industry in terms of exports we would continue to lose? And then finally, immigration. The UK has a huge shortage in workers, so we need people to come in. On the channel crossings, Brexit has made it worse, but there were things that we could have done that actually help reduce the numbers of crossings. But he does not offer any solutions there either. He might mention like leaving the ECHR and stuff, but that's nonsense. Speaking to GB News, Adam Widdecombe, who is All Shorts' favourite character, I believe, said the party will be putting candidates to stand, quote, in every seat, end quote, at the next general election. We heard that was meant to happen in 2019. Didn't happen, so doubt. She told Bev Turner and Andrew Pearce, quote, "Last time the Brexit Party stood down candidates because the Conservatives were promising to get Brexit done, but they have ratted on that promise. As far as we're concerned, we're not going to be brought off a second time, so we will be standing in every seat. They are not Conservatives anymore. The current party is neither Conservative nor Unionist, and I am both a Conservative and a Unionist, and I see no future at all in the current party," end quote. And, what does she mean by brought off? That's interesting. Was there money exchanged, or did you just think the Tories would actually live up to their promises, despite the fact that they've never lived up to their promises? What do you mean by that, Anne? Maybe All Shorts can get answers. In a defiant pledge, Widdecombe told GB News that Britain would be leaving the EU as, quote, one UK, end quote, and will, quote, not leave a part of it behind, end quote, as she made reference to Sunak's Windsor framework. So can she explain what would happen to the border on the island of Ireland and the Good Friday Agreement? Maybe the so-called journalists should have asked her that, done their jobs properly, but with guys like Andrew Pearce being, quote, journalists, he's obviously not going to do that because the man's Tory boy Pearce. He wears it on his sleeve and he wears it proudly. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.